is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Saint Rita, pray for us. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our. Siguro we will just have a few sessions na lang left before the exam. I will not meet next week on the 12th. Kaya exam naman na sa Achievers. Siguro I would request to have a face-to-face exam if you are already vaccinated. Or if dili pa, we will just have it online. Pero I would really much prefer for Achievers to come here for face-to-face exam. Okay? So you have a separate examination compared to the regular students. No? Or non-achievers. Sorry. So, I think we only have kay my klase Judayon din sa 10, no? We will still wait for the announcement from we will have a meeting tomorrow. We will still see if what will be the decision, if we will have a 2-day na walay klase next week, no, for the elections. That's 9 and 10. Pero I think that only applies for government employees, no? Kita di makita that we're not that much affected with the elections, jud, no, because public schools naman ang gigamit as facilities for that, no. So probably by 10 we will still have a class, no. And dili na more class na nato ang 10, no, kay dili na ko kamit aning 17 and 19 because sa 17 you will have the final oral defense sa college. 19, that's preparation for the deliberation, and then the rest will be examination week na a week after that, no. So paspasanay, no, actually pangkutas ta tanan no second sem, and we are just hoping for it to end, no. So for those who will make it to the cut, there are only few, but I really hope that those who made it to the cut pag first sem will still make it the second sem. I'm still hopeful so that what they call this, by June 4, I can still meet with you sa Marina, no, Park Marina, because I think the graduation and the recognition will be held there sa Park Marina, but of course only the fully vaccinated students are allowed to attend, no. So kisa to ang makamake it to the cut, hopefully kaktura siya pong same people, then andam-andam na dayon mo, no, for your preparations for the face-to-face recognition. Okay? So let us start with our discussion. We are going to go with complaints management. I think that's the only thing that I haven't further explained, you know. Supposedly we are going to continue with the drills, but naputol man to siya last time, no. So we are hoping to have that by 10 na lang siguro. And complaints management is part of that, no, because as tour guides, diba, the spiel that I gave you is only intended for tour guiding contest, no. Like it's not the actual jud na like what you say, no. Although na may parts ito nga magamit jud mo sa tour, but it's not that detailed or comprehensive as to an actual tour. An actual tour has a lot of spontaneous moments where there are tourists who will complain, there are tourists that will, be very annoying, there are tourists that will question you a lot, there are tourists na also kanang dili ka keep up sa imong energy, no, and that happens all the time, no. And the spiel that I have provided as an example is just merely for contest, no. So kung sa actual jud class, dili lang naingon nga magstorya lang ka dira, hatag kag mga information about this destination, and that's okay na. Sometimes you would encounter situations where you will make a decision, or sometimes you'll encounter very irate guests or tourists, and you have to handle these tourists, no. And you will also encounter some situations wherein no katakong gipang balik-balik jud ninyo class, no, balik jud in discussion all around jud ka. And what do you do when this situation comes? Now, usually when we had our OJT, we have experienced firsthand na how to deal with guests on the actual nga situation. We weren't actually trained to handle guest complaints. Like that's the purpose of OJT, no? We are exposed to this kind of environment where we encounter guests in real life, dili lang simulations lang, or for example like mga kanang mga play lang or drama, but it's an actual guest with an actual complaint, no. And it's difficult, no, kung ikaw wala ka naanad sa service industry, it would you would get flustered, you would get what you call this, kanang murag mataranta ka sa imong buhaton, mangita kag kanang murag mutabang nimo labi na kung magyaw-yaw na ni siyang nga guest. And it's important that how you react matters, no, because sometimes you get so heated, di ba, nga yaw-yaw si guest, kita yaw-yawan po nato, no, kay lagi dili ta gusto nga yaw-yawan ta, bastuson na ta, di ba? So in that situation, it's different man gud. In our industry, we need to keep calm. Although, you know, we are bursting na inside, no? You have to keep calm and you have to remember these certain steps. Actually, naka-PowerPoint din siya, no? But I've lost my PowerPoint. Sadly, it cannot be opened. It's corrupted. So I had to go back to the website where I got these steps, no, in how to manage complaints, no? As managers, actually, it's part na actually of our training as managers, on not just how to manage people and how to adjust and be flexible with their different personalities, but we have to also know how to properly pacify guest complaints. Kay dili na siya pwede nga you have to fight fire with fire. It's a no-no. Diba? Kapila ko gustutin nyo ana nga, di siya na pwede. O kung kung sa ubang aspects, you can have rebuttals, or like kung sa anong rapulag na amo sa Korte Suprema or sa palengke, or I don't know what you call it, but in our industry, it's a no-no, no? Kita jud ang alkansi, because once we talk back to our tourists or to our guests, we'd also sometimes be called out by our supervisors, no? Because that's not the right thing to do, no? Our supervisors would often reprimand us, no? Yeah, usually ang advice jud sa amua is kalma lang. If dili siya nimo madala og pacify si guest, that's the time that you call the supervisor or the general manager, and he or she will have to deal with it. Kay sila man na nakadawat og proper training. Ikaw, you can vent out all of your emotions because it's frustrating, no? You can vent out all of your emotions at the back of the office, na kanang naka sa employees locker room or naka sa lounge, and you can just vent it out, no? Kay bawal na siya sa atoa, no? That's our protocols, jud, nga bawal sa atoa mo talk back sa guests. As much as possible, you have to keep calm. May mga moments mo puno jud ta, no? And kung man natabo sa mga call centers, diba? Ako gani, I have high respect for call centers because they manage a lot of complaints within a day compared sa atoa sa tourism industry. Siguro sa atoa gani usahay, it can be rewarding because there are other guests nga dili man irritable, na uban guests nga very kayo, no, kanang happy food, very grateful sa imong service. So magmakagaan-gaan sa feeling sila almost every day, no? And it's a struggle. So how do we pacify, or let's say, how do we protect ourselves nga dili po ta sobra matamaan sa complaint ni guests, no, that emotional damage that they bring, and also how do we pacify them nga they would feel nga they are important, nga sila pod gipaminawon sila, no, gi-take serious ang ilahang concern, because not all guests mo complain just because they're merely Karens, no? In the US they call it Karens, kanang mga palareklamo, palatawag og kuan manager, di ba? May mga memes ana, no? There are other guests that are not like that. It simply happens nga moreklamo sila because they were not satisfied, they were neglected, or they felt insulted, no? They felt unhappy, no? So dili po na totally tanan sala ni guest. Sige man ni siya yaw-yaw eh. Basta nara jay something wrong na we weren't able to deliver the service right, okay? Okay. So let's start with step 1. So step 1, listen and empathize, no? So one reason why customers complain is that they want to feel heard and understood. When you start the complaint management process by simply hearing the customer, you establish a tone of empathy that will help the customer trust you. So it's all about active listening, no? Nga you're not just there nga, yes ma'am, and then wala na kay full attention sa iyahan, no? Anaminaw. And how will you able to understand her or his situation if you do not listen fully, no? Kanang murag di na ka maminaw, kay kapuya na ka, no? Listening to complaints is a chore. Anong marag mo nag-iunhan yung kagalingon daan, no? So you have to hear and listen, no, and empathize with the customer, they would feel, or the tourist, they would feel nga you are taking their complaint seriously. Okay? Skip lang ta, no? Okay. Understandable naman. Sa phone, kanin siya sa, kung written siya, no? But we are in tour guiding man, so we have to deal with the verbal one. So, once you actually are face-to-face with a tourist, no, make sure, again, no, nato sa to ang soft skills, di ba nga, kung ang i-discuss ato tong communication skills important in tour guiding, no, very important na siya nga, when we listen, maintain the eye contact, no, make it known that you are really listening intently and you are really interested in listening his side of the story. Okay? And then, hulata sila mahuman og storya, dili kay musapaw dayon. Okay, second one is be an advocate. So, empathy is the only first step. Like, you empathize. Like, I understand, ma'am. No? It's very understandable. No? I understand your situation. That's empathy, no? But customers also want to know that you'll fix the problem and make them satisfied again. No? Very demanding siya paminawan, but that's what we do, no? The industry humbles us because we are in the service industry. We cannot say nga, no, this tour is so demanding. The best thing that we can do is just provide what they need and make sure that they are satisfied, because once they voice out their experience from our service and they are not happy, that could affect our business, no, our way of living. Kaya nga naman, kung dili sila happy, then of course it would reflect sa mong services nga dili di ay high quality or dili ay maayo pag serbisyo, so pakatag niya sa uban, no, nya kuan madawat imuhang business, diba? So tarungon jud, no, mo na isakto nga you're open nga if they complain, you're open to change because maybe there's something lacking sa imuha, no. Ana jud na dapat, it does not only apply in tour guiding, it applies in real life. Ikaw as a person, kita kumupili ta og other people, di ba, nga someone who kita as people for us to grow, no, nga willing pud ta nga maminaw nga okay, this is where we are flawed, or this is where we fall short, so how can I make sure nga to be better. Okay, so ana po na, no, you want to fix the problem, no, you want to help them be happy again. Okay, otherwise they wouldn't take the time to reach out. And it's very ironic, no, because we as practitioners, or let's say we as people in the service and the tourism industry, we are always taught to fix problems if we see them. We are always taught to make sure that our clientele, no, the people that we provide our service to, are happy, diba? Because that maro po tag public servant leaders po, no, pero kuan ka nag mo man atong trabaho, diba? So importante na, no, there's nothing wrong with our customers complaining, not unless if it's for the sake nga nag-complain na jud sila, no, like pinakkuan na jud, no, kanang mag-complain jud sila kay maldita ra jud, no, but they complain because they want you to be better, to do better, because they are paying for the services, di ba? Wait, ako na mo reklamong estudyante, usahay, no, amo pa nang gina-weigh down if kani nga complain ba useless ra ba ni siya nga complain, or kani nga complain ga matter jud, no, like para sa nabitaw, no, kamo na may mga concerns sa inyong subjects, and I make sure to weigh it down. Actually, kato yung mga concerns sa previous semester, do not forget nga, I listed that down. It's recorded. Admins know about it, and we really make sure that it will be taken care of. Dili nyo mabatsyag diha dayon, but we do care, no? So, muna siya. Fixing the problem is important. You have to be an advocate, okay? You're going to do this for them. I'm going to make this right for you, ma'am, no? It has a weight there, no? Kanang sila nga, I'm going to do this for you. It means nga willing jud ka, no? Willing ka to humble yourself and to admit nga, yes, no, we fall short in the service. Ma'am, you weren't able to deliver the service that you expected, no? For example, tong sa session nga kung attenan kanina lang, no, sa buntag, pangutan nami if dili ba satisfied si tourist sa mong buhaton, then either we provide a refund or kana, no, to pacify the guest. It's always ko ano mo na protocol, free of charge jud dayon, or we make sure to identify the problem as siya, like identify those places nga dili siya satisfied, and then make sure to correct it and make sure to make bawi jud, no? Make things right. Okay? Ana dyan na siya, di ba? Na you make sure to identify the problem, dayon imuha nang i-address immediately and make things right for that person. It is applicable in all fields, in all industries. Whether it may be in our industry, in the education, like kami as teachers, no, mubitaw nga kamo, ma-evaluate mo mga teachers for us to know if we are really doing our job right, no? Because may times nga we are also imperfect, di ba? And you have to weigh down if asa diri ang among paminaw, asa din dili, no? Kaya may uban nga, or sa tunay, ning reklamo kay, dili siya ginahan mag face-to-face og exam, pero ang kuan ay, ang rason na siya ato is dili siya gusto kay madakpan nga wala siya gatuon kay dito magkopyahan ay raman sila online copy paste sa internet nya karon needed man mo agto sila face to face kay of course no ang ilahang mag-need bag hands on dili man siya para sa tuwa nga vocal lang tanong miskin kita nag-need bitag hands on di bag hands on either computer man or pa-medical na importante biya na siya di ba so no mo po time nga di na mo kung anon ang complaint kay kakaning nga estudyante ning reclamor ni kay dili man siya gusto nga face to face ang exams king vaccinated na siya kay mabalaan nga mangupya ra siya di pa siya ready okay speakers nga nag-complain nga muna no na pressure sila or for example kanang nga kuan is kanang dili sila kuanon di kung time nga we really need to understand no kanang wala sila gi-include or for example sa include sa mga activities or sa mga handouts then that's the time nga we need to take action baron or listen the side of the student no if it's really struggling sa ilahang part so yan na po na no tanan nga fields in education in the business no even in business diba natin mga customers sa tourism tanan pati na ang gobyerno kay public servant man sila if naatay mga kuan, then those people, kaya they provide service to us, then, wala siya, no? Have to make things right. Do the right thing, okay? So, your goal is not to dismiss the problem nga, kuan naman na, or kuan naman na. Your goal is to resolve it, no? So, that's always, kanya, abi na, if mamabatsyag pa dyan na ni customer, or ni tourist, if you are really genuine in pacifying or let's say finding solutions for him if you also keep updates mo na sa sa katong si Jasmine training na atinan sa mga 4th year nga naturally follow up nga sir I've already ako anang na muhang complain or muhang concern nya ko na brought up dito sa supervisor nya pagkahuman sir mo nilang buhaton mag-ipaagi kag due process etc. At least na i-follow up ba nga kabalo sila nga kay giliyok jud ay nila nga wala ra nila gidawat akong complaint din wala na ko kabalo kung gilihok ba nila or wala di ba at least kabalo sila nga you are really genuine and you take action jud ana as student leaders hapit na election na to sa ARSC po no ingana pod na no as student leaders po na uban nyo dire mudagan man for position that's the kind of service that we provide servant leadership dyan na siya dapat okay then the next step is learn more to resolve the issue you need to know as much as the circumstances as possible now it's not only enough that you listen and you empathize and you make sure that you take action to really resolve the problem but you have to learn more because the more you understand the more you listen mag-ukay-ukay ka dira unsa jud ang root of the problem or complaint ni customer or ni tourist the more you know what is the right solution for her problem okay imuha nang ko anon para sa to hatag ko another example mo yung example pod kanina no kani abi na siya nga tourist kay dili siya satisfied sa mga tourist destinations nga iyang nalaagan kay tungod bakak daw kuno ang naa sa tourism promotion campaign video tourism campaign video nga ilang nakitaan like for example mo ilang nakitaan sa tourism campaign video sa or promotion video sa kani nga lugar pag tulala dito underwhelming kaayo no it didn't meet their expectation so nag-complain sila. And then, the best thing you can do is learn more. Like, ma'am, can you point out the specific tourism promotion video nga nakaingon ka nga kanang dili mao sa imong actual nga naagtuan nga tourist spot. So once you know, ay okay, dili di ay ni siya from DOT, no, murag fan made rin ni siya nga video, ma'am, where did you get this video, etc etc. And then may command, do not put the blame ni ma'am nga ay kuan mo ka ma'am napailag ka, dili pod manara pud ka nga kuan man ma'am, since we understand your concern, and you would like to apologize nga you weren't satisfied with the places that you have visited. Actually, the tourism promotion video that you have seen is not part of our company or of the official tourism promotion video of DOT. No, it was just a fan-made video. But nonetheless, you would like to offer free of charge, or for example, total refund of whatever it is that you spend on these destinations, no, and we will make sure that the next time that you travel, we will upgrade and take you to more beautiful places nga wala pa nimo siya nakitaan. So may ana ba, no? Have to understand, katis kabalo ka okay na misled di ay siya, or ko ano, dili di ay mo align ang tourism campaign video sa actual nga place nga yang giagtuan. Okay? Other than that, you have to really learn more. Like for example, nasuko siya kay wala daw ko nun siya gitagad. Di mong pangutan unsa man di ay mong concern, ma'am, etc tanan, para kabalo ka asa dyan ang root of the problem and for you to address it properly. Because sometimes ra pa sa doktor ba nga kung dili ka makabalo, di ka mangutana, di ba? Ang doktor daghan kay mga pangutana sa to anon, sa tuang kuan, mga activities sa past few days, sa tuang diet and all, because they would like to accurately prescribe you with the medicine that you need, no? And para sa to, dili ta mangutana, how can we prescribe the accurate solution to their problem if kita mismo dili pud ta hapaw ra ba, like maminaw ta kadali pero wala jud ta nakuha ang full jud nga story why he or she is upset. Okay? And then the next step is reiterate the core issue. What do you mean by reiterate? No? Masyag active listening, no? You're clarifying what you heard before you respond. Like, kung ano ka nang imo pang ikuan ba if sakto ba jud, no, like ma'am, para dili ko masayop, ma'am, or for example, para dili ako misunderstood imong complaint, ma'am, mao ni siya imong reklamo, ma'am, and then gusto ka nga mao ni ang buhaton, is that correct? Okay, so ano ba mag-imong i-reconfirm ko, let me make sure I understand, ma'am, so this is what you want to ask from us because mo ni siya imong complaint. Okay, is this right? So what you've told me, ma'am, is that you've called several times in the front office and then nobody even cared to answer, and when you came down, nobody seemed to take, or let's say pay attention to you. Is that right, ma'am? Nga na ba? Mo i-clarify. Pero wala kayo misunderstood. And again, no, going back to what I've said earlier, so that you can prescribe din ng doctor, prescribe the right solution to the problem of your tourist. And it's important, dili lang sa hotel, in tour guiding, tanan, no? So ako, pag-approach is very general kay, no? Kay tour guiding man siya tani, no? But very in general. But again, no, applicable siya even to tour guiding. Kaya maka-encounter siya ka, kapila na labi nang sa pagkaon, kay labas sa tour guiding, no, na ay times nga you make stops and then ikaw ang bahala sa meals sa mong mga tourist, apil po na siya, no? So be ready for that. Once you've already clarified, you proceed immediately to step 5, identify the cause. Like, why did it happen? Okay, so is it the company's fault, or was it simply the fault of the tourist or the guest, and unsa man tong buhaton para ipasabot sa ilaha. Okay, and it's okay to be assertive. Why? Especially mga times yung mga tourists mo gaslight ninyo, no, kanang kabalo sila nga sila nakasalawat because of pride, dila jud ang i-insist nga ikaw nakasala as a tour guide, and you've explained several times nga, ma'am, dili man ni siya mao kay, again, no, you went to this place, this was restricted, we already made it clear, sa tuwa palang rules daan, nga you have to follow the pathway. Dahil kag mga ko daghan na kay siya mga yaw-yaw, and then ibalin niya ang sala sa imuha. Okay? Sometimes that's gaslighting, no? Be careful of that, no? Because we encounter so many people. Nila sila batasan ng class niya sahay mo dyan na ng matabo. I've encountered several tourists, or not tourists, but guests who are like this. And the best thing you can do is to be assertive. Be assertive in a way nga di po ka mo talk back jud nga magbinastos, no, or mag dog show po mo dira, but in the sense nga, ma'am, let me get this clear. If pwede, you have to be frank, and that's okay. Frank in the sense nga, of course, no, you're not going to say nga kanang kuan, ma'am, bugo ka, dili na pwede. Okay, kanang you have to assert yourself nga panindigan siya nimo kung unsa imuhang kuan, you take a stand, because iyang gigit niya sayo pan jud, no? Di man na pwede nga kuan. That's why I often tell my students, customer is not always right. There are times that they can be wrong, no? And we do not have to lower our principle just because nga gusto ta masakto sila. But instead, we say customer is king. When we talk about customer is king, it means nga we do everything to satisfy them, to treat them as if they are royals VIP, because they deserve it, because they've paid for these services. Pero they're not always right. And if there are times, like for example, mangita sila danggit masking sa inyo hang hotel, you cannot serve that, then you have to really tell them nga, no, we can't do this, we can serve this kay mora man ni ang nasa mo, ma'am. Mangita sila og wala, di ba? So, muna, no? Then next is step 6. Step 6 is ask the customer to suggest a solution. Now, this is rare actually. No, we don't ask the customer all the time. Okay, it provides an impression that you don't know what you're doing. No, this is not This is not applicable all the time. Sometimes you just ask them, kay labi na ko nakakalma na ang guest. You can't ask them, sabi mo gusto ma'am kung flustered pa sila, no? But sometimes you just ask them para to make sure nga masatisfied sila, because they know what they want. But if they don't know what they want, then it's up to you to provide with an alternative solution. So, putanay mo sila. Okay? So, what do you want us to do, ma'am? I want you to do this, do that, na. Oh, ikaw di po ka totally nga mo, tando din ka. Imusang i-weigh down. Now, your third request, ma'am, is very impossible. We cannot do that. Instead, we will do this. So, hatag the alternative, no? So, sometimes, dili siya directly jud magpa-ask og suggestion ni customer. Kaya sometimes you can ask the grandest of things, no? Like, for example, very trivial ra, very simple ra ilang problema, ha? Pero gusto sila og grand nga solution. Gusto sila nga free of charge judayon sila. Like, mayabahan lang kagamay dira, gusto sila nga i-upgrade judayon nilang room, no? You can't do that all the time. Again, customer is not always right. No, when they make suggestions, you still filter it out. Night times nga we follow what they want. Di man ingon nga we are rebellious, no? But we ask them what they want. If it's applicable, if it's okay for us to do it, then go for it, no? Pero if you ask them what they want, pero it's too much na, it's over the top na, and sometimes at the expense na nga, ipa-extend nila ilang stay 1 week per way bayad, no? Sometimes you have to put a limit sa. Okay? Sometimes there are people who are like that will intentionally be unsatisfied kunuhay kay para to have like kanang free of charge services. So you ask them, but still you have to weigh down asa dira ang pwede i-apply. Step 7, explain next step. So once you already identify the solution to the problem, then you tell them unsay sunod matabo. Okay? Ma'am, so this is what we're going to do. First, we're going to write a formal complaint with your signature, of course, no, that this incident happened to you, karon nga adlaw, and who are the following people involved. Once we have the document, we will pasa rin na to sa kinababuan, pagkahuman, for approval, no, authorization tanan, and then they will come up with a decision for free of charge, and then additional nga kuan. Muna yung mga buhaton, mga steps ba in order to meet with a solution. Para kabalo sila nga, this is what you're going to do, and this is what comes next. Nga dili lang sila mabiyaan lang sa ere, and they do not have any clue nga giliok ba ilahang complain or wala. Okay? Next is make it happen. Dili lang kay, mo yung buhaton, mo yung himaniman, mo kay follow up, dili ka mo lihok dayon. Put a breast storya. Okay? So next is report back. So when the problem is fixed, you let them know. Follow through na. We call this in the industry follow through. Like, ma'am, we already raise your concern sa kaninga department and they are doing their best na to get back with you immediately. So na fix na to siya, ma'am, and then okay na to siya. Ana. And then it's not enough lang, no? Dili na siya enough class nga nakahatag ka og solution siyang problem and then nag-follow up ka, no? Offer something extra. You can even go the extra mile because we call this one service recovery. Okay, what do you mean by service recovery? Like, for example, there is a flaw in the service. Like, we are supposed to provide this kind of service to our tourists or to our guests, but sadly, wala siya na dayon, no? Like, for example, or napalpak siya. Ito na ibutang, napalpak siya. So, unsatisfied kayo si guest, no? Or si tourist niya. Since unsatisfied man siya, sige siya reklamo. Pag reklamo niya, imuhang ginagag solution niyang problema, niya you offer pa something extra like, ma'am, these are vouchers, present them in your next visit so that you will be free of charge na, no, pag stay mo. Or, ma'am, we provided complimentary baskets to make up for the inconvenience that we have provided sa imuha. So sila, expect na sila nga, yun, nimo ang ilang problema, but they did not expect that you would go the extra mile and provide them gift baskets baron or complimentary things. And that would really make them happy. And kada ilang mo complain nga, bantay lang ni sila kung i-post sa social media sa TripAdvisor, mawala na, ano, mukha silang, okay, thank you kaayo niya. Kung mawala din ka nga, but first, upset kaayo ko, pero they were able man to cater to my complaint and then also provide me with a complimentary nga kuan, so I'm happy na anang the employees are very accommodating. Oh my ana, no, they really listen to us, so kana na siya, no, offer something extra sometimes helps, and that's what we call service recovery, no? We make sure that we provide solutions and we make sure to kanang bawion dyan na mo, no? And this is crucial because you can't make service recovery if your tourist is outside na of the vicinity. Let's say nakauli na siya. You can't just email them and expect them to be happy if tagani mo sila og kanang mga email cards nga nangay kag sorry or empathize ka, dili na siya, no? Make sure that when you do service recovery, samtang fresh pa, no, bago pa lang siya nag-complain, so that katong iyahang complain nga na siyang utok, dili na siya ka-complain, no, mawala na to, and then it will be replaced with, although makamhimo siya pun siya comments, no, nga kanang at first wala siya gitagad or wala siya satisfied, pero makabawi din siya at the end because you also make bawi po sa kani nga tourist. Okay, so that's it, no? Those are just the 10 steps for you to manage complaints, no, in different industries na ni siya, not just in the hospitality industry, no? So tanan ni siya, applicable siya even sa tourism or sa tour guiding. Now let me just stop for a while. I'll be showing you a video how to just to support my discussion earlier. This is an 8-minute video, and this is, wait lang kay medyo ga-loading akong internet. Okay.
Hi there, Kelsey here from Be a Better Guide. Now in this video we're going to talk about the laugh method, and it's a perfect way for handling upset customers.
How to work with angry or frustrated guests. Okay. Sabi ka nang suko na jud kay sila nalisod kay pacify. Pag una hadlok jud kay ko class mo atubang og mga tourist kay nga mga angry complain ng mga guests or tourists kay mo lagi, no, kanang stressful ang emotional nga ko ma-feel nimo once they complain. Okay, so let me just share my screen.
Hi there, Kelsey here from Be a Better Guide. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the laugh method, and it's a perfect way for handling upset customers or frustrated guests. But quite naturally, it makes sense to begin with a laugh. So here's a video that I took just the other day of a squirrel jumping into a mirror. Now, no squirrels were harmed in the making of this video. He's fine. He's just a little confused. Let's get started. As tour and activity operators, we all know that dealing with and sort of managing frustrated, upset, and even disappointed guests can be one of the hardest parts of our job. So today, I'd like to share one of the most practical and down-to-earth tools that can really help us get through these situations. It's called the laugh method, and it's been around for decades, and the original source is unclear. Now, it may seem a little cheesy, as acronyms can sometimes be, but I just want to reassure you that this is a method that I have actually used over and over hundreds of times on tour, and it's one of the first things that I coach new guides during a training program. So let's take a look. The word laugh is an acronym comprising of the 5 recommended steps when facing tough clients or upset guests. L is for listen, A, acknowledge, U, understand, G, give solutions, and H, hit home. But take note, the order is extremely important here, and it's actually where many tour leaders mess this up. Let's begin with L, listen. You probably know from your own experience that when you're upset or angry, you have a story to tell. Keep this in mind as upset customers want to tell their story and know that they're being heard. Listening means standing there quietly and letting the other person talk without interruption. Now, a lot of time, our natural response is to jump right in and maybe be defensive if they're being a bit accusatory, or offer solutions right away or get to corrections, but avoid this temptation. You can ask questions, of course, to learn more, but not to get defensive or challenge them at this stage. Listening. It sounds simple, but believe me, this step is a lot harder than you might think. The second step is A, acknowledge what has happened. This step is critical, and most people skip right over it. They listen, but we don't take the time to acknowledge what has happened. A guest is complaining because they felt they've been wronged in some way or an expectation hasn't been met. And they're looking for acknowledgement that this has happened. They're looking probably for a sincere apology and also some commitment from you to make things right. So the solution to any problem, whether major or minor, should begin with acknowledging what has happened and offering a sincere apology. We often think that I'm sorry implies guilt or wrongdoing, or that I've screwed up in some way, but it really doesn't necessarily imply you're wrongdoing. Think of the way that we use I'm sorry when we hear someone's grandmother has passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. That's the type of way we want to use I'm sorry. And unless you actually hit that person's grandmother with a car when you say I'm sorry, guilt is not implied. In this step, use language like, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must have been really frustrating. Or, I hear you. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm so sorry to see you upset by this. This was not the plan. Or, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Let's see how we can fix this. The third step is you. Understand the problem or problems. One of the most powerful ways to calm an irate guest, somebody who's really, really upset, is to show that you truly understand what they're saying, right? What is making them upset? Think of all the times that you've been really upset, and when somebody finally seems to have a full grasp of the situation that you're in, that can be very soothing and allows us to move on to fixing the problem, right? So once we've listened and acknowledged, we can now ask a few probing questions to try and find out what the really sort of core issue is that's making the person upset. Here are some examples of great probing questions. When did this issue arise? What exactly was promised to you? Any idea as to why this might have happened, and how can we make this right? One of the least effective things that we can do is solve the wrong problem. And this happens quite often. If there's an easy solution or we're quick to jump to something, we may be fixing the wrong thing. So take the time to fully understand why your guest is upset. And as a hint, it may not be the initial thing that they brought up. It might be something that's underlying that a sense of being wronged in some way, that something unfair happened, they felt disrespected. And that might be the core issue that we need to fix. Step 4 is G, give solutions. Let's just first appreciate that actually solving the problem is the 4th step. 4th. Isn't that crazy? I mean, our natural inclination is to rush in and fix the problem right away. Make this awkward situation go away as quickly as possible. I know I've been there. But we do not want to do that. We want to resist that urge to jump right in before we've listened, acknowledged, and understood what's going on. At this stage, it's also common when we're giving solutions to bring up a lot of excuses or explanations of why this whole situation has happened. But let me tell you, your guests are not interested in hearing about your company problems or who's actually to blame. Avoid talking in those terms and really focus on how we can fix their problem. Once again, your language is key. Here's some example phrases that work really well. What can we do to resolve this? We could talk to the office right now, or if it's okay with you, perhaps we could talk to them after the tour. I will personally find the answer to your question and get back to you in the next 15 minutes. We would be happy to offer you a refund, or if you prefer, credit towards another tour. Here's some phrases that should be avoided. The only thing I can do is, it's not our policy to, you'll have to talk to, I can't, and no, there's no way. Try and find other ways of communicating that don't use this kind of negative phrasing. Just as important as fixing the guest problem is involving them in coming up with a solution. So give options, have it be a dialogue, and empower them to participate in coming up with a solution to their problem. They're going to be a lot more satisfied with the outcome if you use this process. The 5th and final step is H, hit home. Now, hitting home simply means making 100% sure that both the problem and your customer or guest have been fixed, so to speak. It simply means following up after a solution has been put in place to make sure that they're satisfied with the outcome. Because as we mentioned, you may have fixed the wrong problem, or there might be something else that the guest is upset about. This can mean connecting later on the same tour, but oftentimes it can be done by following up by email or by phone after a tour has taken place. Here are some examples of hitting home. Hey Steve, I just wanted to follow up regarding our conversation this morning. Are you satisfied with the outcome? Is there anything else we can help with at this time? Or, this is Kelsey Toner at XYZ Tours. I just wanted to give you a quick call to check that the refund went through and to re-emphasize how sorry we are for letting you down. Please let us know if there's anything else we can do, and we do hope that you'll give us another chance. This is another step that is often overlooked or people just don't do. This extra care and attention that you take to follow up will impress even your most frustrated of guests. So to quickly recap, when faced with an angry or upset guest, first listen, then acknowledge, understand, give solutions, and hit home. I know this sounds simple, but if you're anything like me, this will actually take quite a bit of practice to get right. So use the laugh method in both your professional life, but in your personal life as well. It is really, really effective. But be disciplined to make sure you're doing all of the steps and to make sure you're doing them in the right order. So to help you with this, I've created a one-page PDF, a cheat sheet basically for the laugh method, which you can print out and use as much as you like. You can grab that using the link below. That would be a huge service to myself and to the whole Be a Better Guide project if you could take a moment to share this video with friends, with colleagues, and fellow tour leaders. It would be much appreciated. As well, before you go, I'd love to hear in the comments below, what strategies and tips do you
Okay, so that was Kelsey Toner from Be a Better Guide, and he actually just supported what I have mentioned a while ago. And again, no, it's really important that we know this because again, it can be applicable not just in our, let's say, how we are as tour guides, but in our personal relationships, in our work, or wherever we are. That's really applicable, especially if when you become professionals na, and you will also manage different people and meet different people. Another is matutong hit home. No, actually, this has been mentioned several times, especially in the CGSP training, na we are so, as Filipinos, we are so hospitable. We're known to really make sure to satisfy the guests. But one thing that we lack is follow through, no? Hitting home. Doing a follow-up if they were satisfied with the solution that we provided, or if, to make them know that we already worked on addressing their complaint, no? So isod karon more na siya ang only thing nga we need to do more as Filipinos, no? Always follow up. Even ako, and I have a struggle with that, na mapatong-patong na ang work, we sometimes forget we need to go back pa and update the person that has filed the complaint, and also make them know that you have already made a follow-up. No? So, yung ana. Okay. Now, before I will end, there are three of you here, no, Bilin. I'd like to ask you individually the importance of knowing how to manage guest complaints, no? How to manage or pacify guest complaints, no? And how important it is sa inyo ha, as not only as tourism students but po as aspiring tourism professionals. Well, let us start first with Drea, then Nieves, and then last is si Anna Marie. Drea, go ahead. Okay, is Drea around? I think she's not. I mean, she is virtually present, but I do not know if she is with us. Hello? Okay, so we will just go back with Shreya lang. Let's start with Ivy.
For me, it is important to manage properly the complaints kuan. Siguro para makuan bitaw na to ma-meet atong makita ang solusyon sa any bitaw nga conflict ana nga area dayon. Kung unsa may mga kulang mamita na to o matagaan na to og mga solutions dayon. Like for example abi sa mga customer or guest kanang dapat katong para sa una nga itakol katong gitakol dito sa una nga dapat i-meet na to ang ilang satisfaction, not just kanang kuan lang kanang murag standard nga services but the best services that we can kuan hatag nila para pod nga it can create a kuan ba good name sa ato ang company bitaw murag ma-reflector pod na sa ato it can create a kanang kuan nindot nga feedback from our customer or guest. And not just only gali kam sa kuan as an individual nga kanang sa mga customers lang but as a kuan kanang as a person na nga kanang dili walay labot na sa tourism industry ba sa lain pa jud nga industry nga ingon ana bitaw kung nindot kag service nga gihatag kay maka-create gid siya nimo nindot bitaw nga kuan nga image ano daw.
Okay, so thank you so much, Ivy, no? Again, no, even kita, for example, mere employee pa lang ta, we can contribute a lot, no, to the reputation of our, of the company where we work, di ba? So, importante po nga we are able to know how to satisfy and manage complaints to ang guests because, again, no, sakto to yun ni Ivy nga, it can reflect also the name of the company where we currently work. Okay, so thank you so much, Ivy. How about Anna?
So it is important them to know how to deal with angry customers kay kanang it can kuan po na nato kanang makatabang po na nato dam to improve our skills on how to deal with some issues or problems with the customers tapos at the same time kanang it improves our ability to kuan to make a negative situation to a positive one. So it is important sad nga as a worker or any anang kung asam ka gaobra nga industry kanang dapat kabalo ka on how to handle angry customers dapat kanang nantawon nimo nga dili po ka kung masuko sila dili pod ka masuko dapat kay sila customer dapat imo pod silang kanang uyon-uyonan or istoryahon to solve the problem and to handle the situation or their frustration right para mao to gingon ni Ivy nga maka-reflected na siya sa image sa ato ang industry. Wala na daw.
Okay, so thank you so
Dayon pud
Yes, ma'am, go
kuan
ahead.
po dam kanang pag ana bitaw nga complain dam pwede pud to na siya i-take positively bitaw nga kanang dira ta mag-improve dira ta mo grow bitaw. as an employer, as an individual.
Correct. No? So, sakto po na, no? Sometimes when we receive complaints, it means nga we need to improve on something, no? Dili man ingon nga, kuan, tungod ra nga mangita gupot, no? We need to improve on something ra jud. And that's important. Kay how can we grow if we are not aware that we need to work on something or need to improve on certain areas, no? So nakita man na sa tong customer kay sila man naka-feel sa service, then wala, no, it's also a right opportunity for us to improve. Thank you kayo, Ivy. So I also agree with Anna, no, nga kanang masinsinan jud, no, nga pinahimuta nga tanan, no, kanang dili pud ta very heated mo argue nga mo ko ano tayo salta jud dayon ta, no. Importante, we need to also keep our calm because how can we address, no, the complaint of our customers properly if kita mismo makig-away na ta or dili na to talungon istorya and sakto pa na ulog-ulugan pod kung mahimo because kumana, no, one thing that can pacify our tourists is also that, no. So thank you so much, no. There are only 2 of you left here, so I will be uploading lang the link of the file or of the 10 effective complaint management tips and also the video later on in our Google Classroom.